Hey planners, it's Tay of Shantae Plans and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has officially been a year of doing dashboard spreads in my planner from May 2020 to May 2021. And in this video, I want to take a stroll down memory lane, look at my past spreads and see what has changed and what has developed over the years as I have started sort of creating this dashboard format and for myself and turning this into something that I now do on a monthly basis, which started out as just using some leftovers on a page in my planner I wasn't utilizing to turning it into now being one of my favorite spreads to decorate each month. So let's go ahead and take a flip through these spreads. Okay, so this is my first dashboard spread, and this was May of 2020. And it's really funny looking back at this because essentially when I first got started with these, I had some leftover floral deco stickers, and I was like, oh, well, what if I just put it on this page and just sort of threw it together? I didn't have it completely thought out when I got started on this. I just knew I had some leftover deco stickers, and then I was like, oh, well, I could pull in some of these little quarter box stickers that I had. None of this at all went together. It was just sort of finding a way to make use of things that were sort of leftovers after I'd used them in a spread. I wasn't using traditional monthly kits for my monthly spreads, and so I had the large month scripts and I started utilizing them on my dashboards as well. And it's so funny because I'm looking up here, this is an EC planner, and she had the large hexagon at the top, and I remember just needing to wipe that out, and it's so messy because you can actually like see the whiteout on the page. Trying to cover up that huge hexagon. And that's funny because I know as I continued doing them each month, trying to figure out how to cover that up became like a definite thing for me. And then also really funny, I'm looking at this here, I would track the weekly kits that I would use, and I, at the beginning of the month, sat down and planned out the kits I wanted to use for the month, and then ended up changing it as I went through the month. And I learned immediately, don't write down what kits you think you're going to use. Write them down week by week and track what you actually are using, which is so funny. I was loved putting quotes on here. So I kind of still had the original framework. I've got a Red Lyrics Fashion Girl. I've got the floral deco, the month scripts, and I have been consistent with what I track on this page. My monthly goals, the weekly kits I use, birthdays that I want to highlight for the month, and tracking my social media stats, and then including a quote. So I had kind of the main components of what I wanted my dashboard spreads to be. And then it just sort of kept building from there as I did them each month. So then we get to June, and June is my birthday month. And I remember wanting it to be a little more special and taking a little more time than I had in May, because it was like, oh, well, it's my birthday month. I want it to be pink and I want it to be pretty. And I definitely knew I wanted to use rose gold foil because it's my favorite foil. Oh my gosh. It was also, I was starting my very last class for my MBA, this in the month of June last year. Which was so exciting. I always like to track one highlight of the month, which I don't think I did that in the May spread. So that was something I started doing in June, which is so cool to see that. And you can see here, I used that Manzala from Honey Ink trying to cover up the whiteout that's on the page. This is so funny. I love this. This was, of course, the Sweet Planner. She's always been sort of my initial go-to when it came to floral deco, and then the deco sheets that she has. I love them. And then to have an image like this, you can absolutely work this into a weekly spread, and I've done it. But I also find that working with larger deco pieces and things like this are super easy to do on a dashboard spread or a monthly spread, where you're not having to then fit it into like just columns and trying to make sure you're still leaving room for other stuff you want to write for the week. This is so, oh my God, like the trip down memory lane, and like looking at this, it clearly did not care as much about trying to cover up the whiteout when I got to July. I don't know what that's about, but I guess I just let it go because I'm looking at exposed whiteout here, which is so funny to me. But I could see myself starting to want to like alternate foil colors, because I used rose gold for last month, and here I am, it's July, and using silver. Really loving how this is coming out. Did I have the scripts for June? I did not. Okay, so between June and July, I ordered custom scripts, and this was the first time I got a chance to use the custom scripts that I ordered from Netty Designs to mark my goals, the weekly kits I was using, and then my social media tracker. I was really starting to figure this out at this point, or at least sort of getting an idea that this was something I wanted to do consistently, and wanting to make sure I had everything I needed so that the spreads were coming together cohesive. This, it's so funny. Like, I look back at this and it's cute, but it's definitely like, I'm like, wow, okay, you could have done some more things here. This is so crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go to August. I just put like a whole box up here, y'all. I don't know what to say about this. Like, I look back now and I'm like, I get where you were going with this, but it's just like, I literally just put a whole box on top of that hexagon. I was so frustrated and tired of dealing with it. I hated the exposed whiteout showing, and I just really was looking forward to not having to deal with that being an issue. I remember by August, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to switch to my next planner, because I don't want to have to fight with this stupid, ugly hexagon. But this one, I fell in love with this one so quickly. And this also opened me up to really realizing how much I wanted to start incorporating honey inked deco stickers into my dashboard pages with this embellishment here. And it was like the simplest thing. And it's just the honey inked flourishes. And then I added the floral deco from the Sweet Planner in the center of it. And it made just such a like focal point, eye-catching statement on the page. It's so beautiful. Every time I look at this page, my eyes are immediately drawn to it. One of my favorite embellishments. Also really love this large quote. I love large quote stickers. This is from one of the Happy Planner sticker books, and it's one of the things that I really enjoy about my dashboard and monthly pages. You can use really large quotes in a way that I tend to not have as much room for in a weekly spread. And that just, oh, that makes me so happy. I love the scale of that. It's just, it's very bold, it's very large, but it's very sleek because it's just the gold foil on clear paper. So it blends in really well with the page and still makes a really bold statement. Love it. And it's so funny, like, I'm looking at this and realizing at this point I was still making do with just like very sort of what I would consider now a minimal amount of floral deco. Because now I'm just like, give me all the flowers. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. But I'm liking how this is coming together. We're getting there. I didn't have the birthday script yet. I had ordered the goals, the kits, and the social media, but I hadn't ordered birthdays. And I think this was probably around the time when I started realizing, hey, you realize you don't have a script that says birthdays. So I would just remember to not white that out, because I would white out everything on the page before I got started. And I would have to remind myself, don't white out the word birthdays because you don't have a birthdays script. So funny. Oh my gosh. And in September. Oh, and so you see what I'm saying with the honey ink stickers and how I just started like going in, because I totally trimmed both sides of this box with the mandalas and instantly fell in love. I love, like, there's so much about this that I love, from the floral washi with the rose gold to this fashion girl, and this is from the Sweet Planner. Generally, my fashion girls on my dashboard pages are either the Sweet Planner or their Red Lyrics, and she was so fabulous. I remember seeing this deco sheet, immediately falling in love with this fashion girl, thinking she was just all the fabulousness. I loved her sweater. I loved her little backpack, the messy bun, like her whole, she is a whole mood, and I was just here for it. And just immediately like in love with this. And then also had so much fun with this because it was giving me deeper, more fall colored florals, and which was nice to transition and shift. This was just, oh my gosh, it's so funny. I was playing around, having a lot of fun. What I was really enjoying was finding different ways to sort of highlight or create different sort of headers for marking my goals and kits in each of the sections. This was just so much fun. I'm just, wow. it's so fun just like looking back at all of this. I'm also really happy with how I covered up my whiteout here. I think that might be one of the best jobs I had done up until this point, in covering up the whiteout without just slapping a huge box on top of it. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. Then we went to October. The October one is, I feel like I said this after I'd done this spread, and looking back, I still feel the same way, because I wish I had brought in some washi tape that wasn't pink, but that picked up on either the like orange tones, and sort of these autumn colored florals, or maybe even a little bit of that blue, and just giving it some contrast, giving it something other than just having a bunch of pink. And not because I don't love pink. I absolutely love pink, but because having the pink made it look a little more spring. And if I'd gone with something that was, that picked up on some of the more autumn colors, it would have been better for fall, to really just enjoy and appreciate the fall season. This was definitely not my favorite. And as I'm looking back at it now, I'm just like, yeah, you could have done better. You could have done better. But then this one I love. Oh my gosh. See, and like, because this is giving me all those rich autumn colors, and it's so beautiful. I love the large bold faith quote here. Again, just like really popping quote stickers and script stickers. They just make a really fun statement for me there. I really love what's going on here with this lace and the florals. Okay. And then the lace and the florals here too. Bloom Paper Studio had just released these thick lace washies, and I was obsessed with them. Crazy obsessed. Oh my gosh, I remember that. So in love. They just, oh, they make such a gorgeous statement on the page. I could not. I had so much fun with this. The colors of this was something that I just really enjoyed. This was a fun one. And then we have the December one. This one, I look back at this and I think two things. The first being, I'd broken my ankle the day after Thanksgiving. And so it was just sheer determination to get this spread done, because at the time, what I was required by my doctors to do, to have my leg elevated. And I so wanted to get this spread done. I came to my desk, and it had my leg propped up, but it wasn't propped up the way it was supposed to be, because to have it correctly elevated, it needed to be elevated above my heart, which meant I needed to be laying down with my leg elevated. And I wasn't. I was sitting at my desk with my leg up on a footstool, because I really wanted to do this spread, because I'd had this in my head and I had to get it out of my head and on the page. I'd been thinking about this for about a month and a half, and I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so cute for Christmas. I'd wanted to do this hanging ornament scene using the scalloped circles from Miss Moss. And I remembered knowing that was what I wanted, and actually getting a chance to put it on the page. I loved everything about how it came out, from the way this sort of arcs over the December quote, covering up that hexagon, but also kind of giving me a little bit of a wreath vibe. I loved the mandala divider trim strips, whatever you want to call them. They just look so fabulous and just give such an amazing pop. The fashion girl, who was just incredibly Christmas fabulous. I'm not a red person. It is not my favorite color at all, but I do love red for Christmas, and I was so glad I went with the traditional Christmas colors for this. And it was seeing this deco sheet from the Sweet Planner. I remember when I saw it, and it was this classic Parisian themed Christmas deco sheet, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely using that for my December dashboard spread. And I think it was like, because it was around the time of like, it must have been like October, I was shopping for deco sheets for fall, for November and December, and then January for fall winter. I think that was when I was trying to pick those up. And I saw this one and I thought, oh yeah, it's absolutely perfect, because she does have like pink Christmas deco sheets. But I saw this one and I was like, no, we're going classic Christmas colors, and I fell in love with it. What's super funny to me, because I had so much seen this in my head and I knew exactly what I wanted that to be. I had no idea what I wanted to happen in the rest of the page. And when I was finished, I looked at this and I was just like, I wish you had thought that out a little bit more, because I would have laid it out a little bit different. It feels really, really cluttered here to me. And it just could, if I had just rearranged some things here, this bottom section would have been more to my liking. I do not hate it by any stretch. This is one of my favorite dashboard spreads that I've done, and I love it. I would have done some things different here if I could, but in hindsight, I was trying to plan in pain with a broken ankle and trying to get it done so I could get back in bed and lay down and elevate my leg properly. But this is still, just such a fun spread to do. Then we have my January 2021 spread. And this was another one where I saw the deco sheet and was immediately like, oh my gosh, cannot wait to use this spread. And this was really interesting. So at the beginning of January, I changed my planner so many times at the beginning of 2021, trying to figure out what was going to be my perfect planner for this year. And for January, I was using, this is the City Girl planner. And I only have the month of January in this planner because I ended up switching to the Harriet Wright Designs planner in February, which ended up working out so much better for me. But I really enjoyed her dashboard format. I thought this layout, it was completely different from what I'd been doing for the entirety of 2020. It also gave me this lined page on the opposite side, and I was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely need to utilize this as an order tracker. And that just became something that was just so fantastic, because it allowed me to track where I was shopping, what I was getting, when it was shipped and delivered. And then I started decorating it as sort of just a companion piece to the dashboard spread. Had a ton of fun with these brush strokes. This was when I was really falling in love with brushstroke stickers. I'm still in love with brushstroke stickers. I just think they're a fun way to add color onto the page and give you a different, switch things up, give you a different type of surface to write on that's not just like a standard quarter box or half box or something like that, because they tend to have, more of that natural, organic, sort of splotchy type shape. I don't know how else to describe that, but that's a lot of fun. I love, again, large quote, so in love. And this little fashion girl who's just all kinds of winter cozy fabulousness. I love it. This was so much fun. Hey, and I got a new job. That's my highlight of the month. And yeah, this was a really fun spread. I had a lot of fun with this, and this was my first mixed metals for one of my dashboard spreads, because the girl had a lot of silver going on, but then she had gold in a lot of the floral deco, the little fashion girl, all of the elements of this this deco sheet was a mix of things that, in my opinion, lent itself working really well to both silver and also to gold. And so I was just like, well, let's not pick one or the other. Let's do both. Yay. So I did. And then here we are. This is my absolute favorite dashboard spread I have done so far. I think I'm saying that, and then I'm trying to think that, because I might change my mind by the time I get to May. Well, let me see. Hold on a second. But oh my gosh. Okay, so in February, I was in a brand new planner. I was in the Harriet Wright Designs planner. Carried over the concept of utilizing this page for an order tracker. This page was a grid rather than being lined like it was in the City Girl planner. But what I loved about it was that the grid was, of course, a lot smaller, because I maintained that order tracker for January. It looked like I ordered like a full page of stuff. It looked like I placed so many orders. in my defense, that was wide ruled lined paper and it wasn't as many lines as it looked like. I feel like this is more of an accurate representation of what like my monthly ordering is typically like. That January one is a little deceptive because it filled up a whole page. And I was like, you know what? That feels unfair to me because it was really wide ruled paper. But to the point, oh my gosh, I started putting my month script on the side, and this was the first time I'd done that, which was, I loved the way it looked. It was different for me rather than having it at the top of the page, and it was something fun and different, and I just really enjoyed that. Love the large believer script down at the bottom. You guys know how I feel about large statement quote or script stickers. So fabulous. Then this fashion girl, oh my God, I remember going through, it took me forever to pick the fashion girl for this. I went through and like put down, lifted up, at least 5 or 6 different fashion girls trying to find the perfect one. And February's got Valentine's in it. It's also my anniversary month. It was a very romantic and loved themed spread, and I wanted it to be all kinds of girly, all kinds of pink, all kinds of fabulousness. And this was sort of where I realized I was at a turning point in wanting a lot more floral deco and a lot more deco to be able to work with, because not only was I now decorating the dashboard page, but also utilizing the leftovers to sort of add some coordinating embellishments on the order tracker page, which I don't do a ton on this page. It doesn't need a ton. It's much more functional than needing to be decorative, but I do like being able to embellish it and have it coordinate because it is right across from the dashboard page. So I like these 2 pages to look really like they work well together. But this was a lot of fun for me because I was working with, I want to say like 3 different deco sheets from the Sweet Planner for this spread. And in doing so, it gave me everything I needed. And it's funny because it's something I've heard my friend Lauren of Plan Much Plan say often, is that when she's working on a weekly spread, she'll start off on like one side of the page and she's trying to ration out her deco so she doesn't run out by the time she gets to the second half of her spread. And it's something I experience as well really often. And so after doing this and having all the deco I needed and everything I wanted to complete the spread, I reached out to the Sweet Planner and I was like, hey, have you considered doing like dashboard kits? Because it would really be great for me to have some washi strips to work with and some more floral deco to work with for my dashboard kits. It would really help me out. And she did end up creating them and putting them in her shop, which has just been so fantastic for me. Cut to March. We moved into March, and this was a fun one. I was going through a very strong butterfly phase at the beginning of March, and butterflies have always been something. I literally have butterflies on my nails right now. Butterflies have always been something that I love. I remember, I think probably dating back to middle school for me was when I first fell in love with the whole butterfly trend. And it's something that I just think is fun and pretty and looks really cute on a spread. I was having a serious butterfly moment when I was working on this spread. I want to say like for this spread and even my monthly, I covered both of these in butterflies. I was in a mood. It felt nice to come out of winter, and I felt like I was a little bit early because technically spring doesn't start until like the very end of March, but I didn't care. I was like, yeah, I gave January a very winter vibe. February was of course very romantic vibe, and March I was already in a spring mindset and ready to turn the page on the season. So I jumped right into wanting it to be very spring, very bright and lovely. And I had so much fun planning with this. It just was so beautiful. I really, really loved playing with these sort of scrolly, very incredibly ornate. These are the Inlace washi trims from the Bloom Paper Studio. Loved those. Loved the whole butterflies from Honey Inked. I have a lot of her half butterflies, but she does have some large whole butterflies in her shop that I just had so much fun pulling into these spreads. really enjoyed this bicycle. And that's one of the things that always gets me when it comes to the deco sheets from the Sweet Planner. In addition to having gorgeous florals that inspire me immediately, she also incorporates really fun decorative elements like the bicycle, the umbrellas, and it was just like, oh my gosh. My brain immediately started thinking of things. I remember seeing the umbrella and knowing I wanted to layer it over a box, and I wanted it to sort of sit around the box and frame it in a really fun way. Also got a chance to play around with this sort of circle layering technique that was completely inspired by Connie of Coco Plans. She was the first person I'd seen utilize this layering of circles on circles, and I just thought it was fabulous. And I was like, I have to give that a try. It just looks amazing. And I do. If you're wanting to create a really fun focal point, try it out. It is a lot of fun and it looks amazing. This was so fun. I want to say, I think probably about April was when I had gotten started on working on working on the Sweet Planner and Shantae Plans kit with no, then it must have been March. It must have been March, and that actually makes a lot of sense because my brain was, like I said, in a very butterfly place. And so collab with the Sweet Planner. That was what I was working on in March. We started working on a collab, and it was a butterfly themed kit because I had butterflies on the brain. And so it's so funny as I look back now and I look at this and I was like, yeah, of course, when she came to me with the idea to collaborate on a kit, the first thing that I told her was, let's do a butterfly themed kit, because I was in a butterfly mood at the time that she'd asked me. So I am not surprised that that happened. And we released the kit at the very end of April. It was released April 23rd. That's what that is. Okay. Keeping up with myself. Hey, I didn't write in my moment. I need to finish filling this out. Okay. Note to self, go back, finish filling things out. But this was a lot of fun because this was a really different vibe and mood for me on one of my dashboard spreads. I don't think up until here I'd ever incorporated black into my dashboard spreads, which is so funny. Like, in getting a chance to like flip through and see everything, I am just now realizing this was the first time I had pulled in black. And I love black on a planner spread because it makes everything else around it popped, in my opinion. But the whole vibe of this deco sheet, and I believe it was called Classy, I think was the name of this deco sheet. And that was how it felt. It felt really sophisticated, very elegant. Loved the high-end fashion bags and the whole Chanel vibe and look of it. Very glam florals. And I wanted to sort of step up what I was doing with the other embellishments on the page to match up with the glam feel of this deco sheet. I had so much fun with the garlands and the swoopy garlands and the dangle deco. Because this was sort of right when that trend was kicking off and picking up, and I wanted to incorporate that. And because I was just figuring out how to play around with that trend and actually use it, because I struggled immediately. Like when I first started trying to use dangle garland or fairy lights, whatever you'd like to call those, it was a learning curve, to be sure. But this, oh my gosh, I had so much fun. Really enjoyed starting to mix in different shaped boxes to mark things for the birthdays. And I really love using boxes for my birthday section because I write really small. And so it can be really overwhelming as I just like am looking at all of this open, empty space. And so when I start pulling in boxes, it makes the space smaller and more manageable and not as overwhelming for me to deal with. And that's one of the reasons why originally when I first started doing the birthday section, I started using boxes for them. And originally I was just using like basic quarter boxes because I just needed to shrink that space down and make it not so overwhelming for me, because I would feel like, okay, well, I'm just going to write a name and it's going to just be this small name in this huge space. And how am I going to fill that up? And that's the fun thing with working with a freeform planning space like this, you really get to make it your own and find ways to make it work for you, because there are no limits and there are no boundaries, which is why it can also be very intimidating. I won't pretend that it's not. And it is for me as well sometimes, because I've had people say that to me, that this is like, it feels a little bit overwhelming, because it's not like one of our weekly spreads where you have, you know, your set columns and you know what you're going to be doing, working your way down a column, planning out your day. With something like this, you're literally just taking a page that essentially is very blank, and you can do so many different things with it, which for me, exciting and fun, tons of opportunity, tons of fun things. And my brain starts running in all of these different directions. But that I definitely do understand that can be very overwhelming. And then we get here, and it is a year later. And as you can see, this spread is still in a process, because I utilize my spread. I fill in my dashboard spread as I go throughout the month. So I have not finished filling this one in, because the month's not over. It is still the month of May as I am filming this. I really need to write down some goals though. And like I said, I learned my lesson in not writing down kits before I use them. So I'm writing them down as I go week by week. But oh my goodness, this is of course utilizing the Sweet Planner and Shante Plans collab kit, which is truly surreal when I look back and think about where I came from to where I am now with this spread. So there was this May spread from 2020 in which I was just using some leftover stickers to decorate a dashboard spread, to now a year later, and I'm decorating my dashboard spread using a dashboard kit that I helped design and create. It is a humbling and surreal experience. It is something I am completely grateful for, and it just fills me with so much joy. It's hard to put into words, because I'm just so happy, and it's amazing. I love decorating this page. I love the fact that you guys enjoy these spreads. The response that I get to them has always been so encouraging and supportive, and thank you for that, because I love decorating this page. It's one of my favorite pages to decorate in my planner, and I love that you guys enjoy it as well. It is amazing to be here and to see what has changed so much in just a year, and just this particular type of planning, because prior to me sort of decorating these pages this way, I remember there were kits that were made for dashboard pages that you could order them, and they were just sort of like, they'd have the squares, and then there was some that had like the 3 circles at the top where you could fill in things, but it wasn't really like this. And for me, of course, that all comes back to the floral deco, or the deco sheets from the Sweet Planner, and all of the fun different decorative elements and things that she includes that I'm able to use on this spread and on this page, because I just get so inspired by them, and it's really fun and easy to decorate a page with it, because it's going to add a whole personality and a whole mood and a whole vibe to your spread. To be sure. Thank you guys for taking this fun trip down memory lane with me. It was really just incredible. And of course, getting to it being a year of me doing these spreads, I had to take a moment, sit down, flip through, and appreciate what all has changed and how much has changed in just a year. And so I'm very grateful to see, where I started and where I've come to, and I'm excited to see where I'll go next, because I'm certainly not done decorating my dashboard pages, and I'm sure it will continue to evolve and become something even more special as we go forward. So I am excited for that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I will see you next video. Bye.